And then go live. Okay, we're live. All right,
Awesome.
Welcome back to another episode of 1 Billion Builds, episode 4. Thanks everyone for coming out to the live taping. You can also watch the recordings of these after on the Covalent YouTube channel. And we've started doing a new thing where we have a POAP quiz at the end. So I was actually really excited and surprised to see all the entries for last episode's quiz and how many people tweeted about us. That was really nice. So thank you so much for that. Harish, do you want to say hi and then we'll intro our guests for today?
Yeah, absolutely. Super excited to be here. We've got two fantastic guests. And that's sort of the idea is that with each of these sessions, we're going to try to bring in a partner, bring in some projects that are building using the Covalent API and just, having a good conversation. So really excited about this one. Yeah, let's dive right in.
Awesome. So we have Michael Mendes from IOV Labs today. Would you like to give a quick intro?
Yeah, thanks, Leigh. Thanks, Harish, for having me on. Really great. So my name is Mike Mendes, and I work at a company called IOV Labs, essentially as an account manager, so overseeing all the projects that are essentially building on the RSK blockchain.
Awesome. And then we also have Ankit from Pandora Finance today. Would you like to give an introduction as well?
Yeah, hi everyone. Ankit this side. I'm working as a product lead at Pandora, and we are using Covalent API for like aggregating the NFT, which we'll discuss in a few minutes. Yeah, excited to be here.
Sweet, happy to have you. Yeah, today's going to be cool. We're going to talk about everybody that's used our API and a couple of ways that these projects are involved with Covalent and using our tech, which is awesome. So I think we're going to get started to know a little bit more about Mike, you. So if you could give us like a little bit of a description of what IOV Labs is to start, because I think maybe some of our developers might not recognize that behind RSK.
Sure. So IOV Labs is, let's say, the supporting entity behind RSK. So if you look at what Consensus is, I think everyone will know Consensus. They support the Ethereum chain. IOV Labs is similar in that design or shape and form. So projects that are keen to integrate will get in touch with IOV. We assist those projects, with technical support on the RSK blockchain, and we provide all the necessary components to get an integration through. And my function is to support all these projects that have integrated. We've got a fantastic relationship with the Covalent team, and long may that continue. I think there's some exciting things that are also coming off the back of that. So we'll definitely, as soon as we're ready to start discussing those, we will bring it up in the channels and in all the community chats. But essentially, we are supporting this RSK blockchain. Happy to talk a little bit more about the chain. Should I get into it?
Yeah.
Sure. So I've been reading quite a bit, and sorry, just a bit more of a side note. I don't know if you've heard of Simon Sinek before, and speaking about finite games and infinite games. Yeah. So reading the book, loving it, and I started painting a bit more of a picture of where things are moving forward. So just to paint the perspective of what a game is, it's 2 or more participants. And the finite game is essentially very rules-based. So it's like cricket, it's like chess, it's football. It has an end, right? There's a win, lose, or draw. Infinite is basically an ongoing thing. It's like you compete until your competitors basically drop out. In a business sense, things like Harley-Davidson fits part of that. They've been going, I think, 1904, continue going, they sell a lifestyle, amazing. Why I bring that up, and in terms of the blockchain and in terms of where RSK fits in, it's an important point I want to just introduce, is let's look at like where blockchains are sitting at the moment. We've got smart contract chains or smart contract platforms like Ethereum. They are just dominating the space at the moment, right? But they're experiencing issues with fees. But they won't experience issues with fees indefinitely. Ethereum is solving those kind of problems. So where all these EVM chains, which RSK fits that mold, is that you can compete up to a point, and Ethereum is going to solve those problems. And then where are you fitting? You either have a network effect or you need to find a niche. And that's where RSK fits in. So RSK has a niche. The niche is that Bitcoin is this infinite game. There's this thing where a financial revolution is happening. Bitcoin is being adopted by your companies, by countries. There's a big event happening now in El Salvador called La BitConf, which RSK is a big part of that, where these entities are adopting Bitcoin as this new financial revolution, as becoming part, instead of now the being dollar denominated, it's now being Bitcoin denominated. So RSK is fitting in this mold and the shape where we support Ethereum, like the EVM, we're an EVM machine, but we've also got the ethos of Bitcoin. We want to bring this $1.1 trillion industry that's currently sitting in Bitcoin, that's what the market cap is, over into RSK. We want to bring DeFi for the Bitcoin masses. So we are 100% support interoperability. We understand that there's not going to be one winner in the future. There's going to be multiple winners that are going to have their niches. And this is where RSK is fitting into. So we can't just say compete on fees for now. Every blockchain is going to be cheaper than Ethereum at the moment, until it's not, until they've solved all those problems. So RSK's niche is actually bringing this to the masses. There's a global phenomena happening. That's where RSK is fitting in. In terms of the more high-level conversations, it's more like the fees are much lower than Ethereum. Cool, but that's everyone is much lower than Ethereum, to be quite honest. Where we also then compete is on security. Bitcoin is the most secure chain, let's say, that there is. RSK consumes 50% of the Bitcoin hash rate. So it's supporting the RSK chain. That just means RSK is the most secure smart contract platform that there is, besides Bitcoin, which is not supporting of those, let's say, smart contract capability. So a combination of the security as well as where we see the future going, where Bitcoin is just getting adopted across the world, that's where we are playing. That's our niche in the space. And long may that continue. I can only see more things happening. It's playing the long-term view, not just trying to compete in the now, but where the industry and where the actual economies are moving forward. So, I mean, that's it's a different approach of seeing RSK. I think it's because I've been reading too much books on Simon Sinek, to be quite honest. But it starts making sense when you start looking at it in those views, trying to compete now and trying to compete where that is moving into the future. And that's where RSK is positioning ourselves. Yeah.
I love how you make that parallel with the Infinite Game. It's a fantastic book. It's also there's a few podcasts I highly recommend. I think anybody sort of serious in this space sort of is trying to encapsulate that mindset where the game itself is going to hopefully outlive everyone playing into it. It's sort of the new paradigm of the web, and sort of being at the fundamental level of building the blocks of Web3 and decentralization and what this is going to lead to, I think is super exciting. Just to get a sense from you, you talked a little bit about the conference in El Salvador. Have you got any sort of either regional priorities or focus areas that IOV Labs and RSK is sort of targeting? And if so, what might be some of those priorities and the focus areas going forward?
Sure. So talking about more regional, like in terms of where, okay. So IOV, the company, is based within South America and primarily in Argentina. So there's obviously been a bit of a network effect within that geographic. But our goal is, well, the RSK chain is not regional. It's a global. You can essentially build from anywhere. Our goal is to bring more projects that are global. Like our goal is to expand out not only from the LATAM area or the LATAM region. We have projects the likes of Sovereign, which is the biggest DEX on the RSK blockchain. That has been built. Let's say the primary teams are from the UK, but that project was built just basically all over the world. There is a lot of traction on the likes of Sovereign as the biggest DEX, but also on projects like Money on Chain. However, that one is based within South America. Our goal is to be just expanding across all the regions. Like the RSK blockchain is interoperable from anywhere, so anyone can interact with it. Our goal is to try and bring these projects from the likes of Asia, likes of Europe, likes of Africa, and align with that theme, because our theme is towards that future goal of where Bitcoin is part of this new world order. We want to bring Bitcoin and that theme over onto a smart contract chain, and that's what we support. So RSK is also pegged 1-to-1 with Bitcoin. I think that's also just important to note. The native currency is called RBTC. So yes, let's say the overarching theme is that geographically we're more isolated, or more has been more focused around the LATAM area, but we have seen projects like the Sovereign, which have built, and that's our biggest one on the chain at the moment, and that's been built out of the UK, but it's of course a global project.
Awesome. And for the developer audience, just your thoughts around any sort of like incentives, programs for developers to build on RSK. So what might be some of those incentive opportunities for them?
100%. So there's a number of incentives that's through the IOV as the entity. So reaching out to myself, I can maybe put some details off the back of this as well, or the rest of the teams. I can also share the link where your project could interact with us as an entity. But a few of the things that are on offer, of course, grants. Grants are available for projects that align with the ethos of where we're trying to be and what they're trying to achieve. High level of marketing support. So we'll throw the full marketing engine of IOV towards supporting your particular project. Also technical integration. So we don't physically do the integration itself, but we'll provide the support behind the scenes. So we'll provide support in terms of how to connect, answering a couple of the more technical kind of questions or issues. We'll provide that team to assist you with a smooth technical integration. So those are just a few of the benefits. Of course, there's a fairly substantial community that is growing. This, again, the world order as it shapes, that community will get bigger. So interacting with us will bring, obviously brings a number of those kind of benefits, for sure.
I just want to touch on that too, for developers that aren't aware, some of the people maybe watching. We did our largest 1 million wallets yet with RSK. So if you want to see kind of like some of the projects that were built with that, you can go to the Covalent blog and you can see the winners in that blog post and get some of the inspiration from projects that came out of that as well. But it was super cool. Like it was the first, I think it was the first sort of like introduction Covalent's had to the Bitcoin ecosystem and like working with developers in that area. So bridging the gap between Bitcoin and DeFi, which is awesome. Because I think, it makes sense that we have a future together, like Covalent and RSK and IOV Labs, because we're all kind of working towards that goal of like interoperability and sort of shooting the moving target for the multi-chain future.
For sure.
And I was just going to comment on that. And I think what was really cool about going through the 1 million wallets with RSK was just, seeing the various projects that, most of us, I don't think, at least in North America, have been sort of exposed to. And so, the money on chain, Babelfish, Tropicus, like these were all like really like relatively large projects with decent traction that was the first time for us to be exposed to. So that was, I think for me at least, that was really exciting to see those projects.
And maybe just one of the points as well, what we're seeing now as a bit of a trend is how DeFi, especially because if we look at El Salvador as an example, they're accepting it as legal tender. So now what we start seeing is how DeFi and the real world are starting to connect. So this is where our positioning is trying to also focus on, is like, cool, Bitcoin is already a digital, let's say, digital asset. It belongs in the digital world. If you apply those smart contracts behind the scenes with someone like a country who's adopting it, there's clearly going to be overlap between real world and into the actual digital world. So we're seeing with projects like Babelfish, which is a stablecoin aggregator. So taking everything that's US dollars basically and aggregating into one called XUSD. That's an amazing use case that could hold a massive amount of value in the future, like for diversification, and amongst other reasons, and de-risking essentially. If something had happened to Tether, as an example, this is all being solved within the RSK ecosystem, so built on top of the actual Bitcoin, let's call it on top of Bitcoin layer. So it's very exciting to see these use cases also popping up that may not be are not being used or not being worked on other chains. So it's exciting. I think the future is going to be amazing. Looking forward to more projects that are building on RSK. Of course, if there's any projects on the call here that are keen on reaching out, please do. We are definitely excited to have more projects on board. As many of the DEXs lending and borrowing, Bitcoin-backed stable coins, that's the kind of thinking and the future that we see. And as, again, we're seeing more of these real-world use cases come to fruition, RSK is going to be supporting those from our smart contract capability.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely update the YouTube description here with like all of the links to both of these projects so that you guys watching can get a little more information there. That would be sweet. Also, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat or anywhere there. We'll probably get to those at the end of this chat, and we'll have like a little more of a discussion later. But for now, I'd love to hear a little bit more about Pandora from Ankit. So could you give us like a bit of an overview and then specifically Pandora Express?
Yeah, hi everyone. Pandora is working on to bring an interoperable solution for an NFT and inducing the liquidity as well. So if you talk about right now, if you talk with any of the NFT owners, what is the biggest problem for them? The biggest problem for them is like they create an NFT, they mint an NFT, but they don't know when they're gonna it will be sold out. If it's rare, then it's very good. If it's not rare, then it will be difficult. There are like thousands and thousands of NFT on the OpenSea, which hasn't been sold for an year, more than an year. So our job is basically to bring liquidity in it. And while bringing a liquidity, the first step would be to aggregate all the NFT in one place. And that's where we are building the Pandora Express. So under the Pandora Finance, we built this Pandora Express where you can see all the NFTs of like 4 marketplace on the Binance Smart Chain. It's a Air NFT, Treasureland, Mochi Market, and PancakeSwap. So what and when all these NFTs are like aggregated at one place, what you can do, you can like search which are the most popular NFTs these days by like based out of number of transactions. If people are really interested in it, it means there is like a regular trade happening for that particular NFT. So you can sort out the NFT based out of number of transactions. You can find which are the NFT which recently sold, oldest NFT, most rare NFT. And on top of that, we have also got it like some sort of like price prediction model. So you can speculate the price of an NFT. So let's say if you are a creator, what you're gonna do, like you will just tweet about your NFT from the Pandora Express, and you will ask your like follower, hey, can you just like try to speculate in terms of like price, so that their user will get to know like what price this NFT will be sold after a while. And the price prediction is also like there are like 2 graphs. One graph would be like the price quoted by you, and another graph will be like price quoted by community. So you can try to like bid in terms of like price for that particular NFT. So yeah, in short, like this is what we have built as of now. This is like a completely live and working product. We are gonna bring a lot of amendments and adding new features on top of it. And very soon we're gonna like come up with this inducing the liquidity part also in this NFT by connecting the DeFi. That would be the most wonderful part of this Pandora Express. So yeah.
That's awesome. Harish, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I'm sharing your site because I think your front end design here, it looks fantastic. You've I think when you talked about your project in the description, you mentioned you're aiming to be like the Netflix of NFTs. Maybe talk a little bit about what sort of that sort of reasoning and sort of vision is for Pandora Express.
Yeah, so when I say Netflix of NFT, it basically means like, what is NFT? NFT is basically, as of now, so NFT are like two categories. One is digital NFT, one is real world assets NFT. In digital NFT space, it's very much like kind of in media. Obviously, we have songs and other things. But think it like in Netflix. In Netflix, you go there and you like browse different sort of series, movies. So in the same way, you can come on Express, you can browse like different NFTs generated on different marketplace. As of now, we have aggregated Binance Smart Chain, but very soon we're gonna like integrate with like different chain as well. So this is like a base level what we have did. The next thing what we're gonna like come up with is be like inducing the liquidity and making a cross-chain transaction of NFT from one ecosystem to another ecosystem. So this is the first step which you are saying, which is basically a Netflix of NFT. Yeah.
NFT and chill.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's your new tagline. That's really cool.
Yeah.
In my experience, NFT data itself is like quite difficult and challenging to work with. I think that's kind of the sentiment in the industry as well, especially like aggregating different collections. So I don't know if you're the best person to ask about kind of that process, but if you could share a little bit about how you've done this and maybe how you're also using the Covalent API for some of this, I understand.
Oh yeah. So while building this part, we know that yes, we need like some sort of an API for which we can fetch the data. So as of now, if you ask me like how many NFTs, which has been onboarded on this particular platform, few on last Sunday I was checking like we have like more than 300K of NFT onboarded on this Pandora Express. So what we have did while figuring out the API, we discussed like whether to use centralized solution or decentralized solution. Obviously, we want to go with a decentralized solution, and in decentralized solution, we have like Covalent and various other products. The best part about Covalent API we found is like the debugging is like quite smooth. We have a like single endpoint, and if we are facing any issues in like fetching any specific data, we can like quickly debug it. Whereas in other like a decentralized API provider, there are some times where there is like a downtime of the system, which was like kind of a bit difficult for us to like debug it. And that's where we decided, okay, let's jump on Covalent and let's use their API. Yeah, and that's how we build it.
I have to put a disclaimer. We're definitely not fully decentralized, but we're on our way there. Just for everybody that's gonna jump in on that.
Very cool. Ankit, did I hear you right? Did you say there's 300,000 pieces of art on this platform now?
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
And very soon what we're gonna do, like we are like somehow like, aggregating the NFT at one place and coming with some sort of like a unique insights. If you click on any of the NFT, can you click on the detail of any NFT? So you will see like there's like some sort of, you can predict the price of an NFT, which will be against or like versus the price predicted by the community as well. And this
Oh,
price
cool.
prediction, you can do it for like, from the date of an minting of an NFT. So you can predict the price. Let's say you minted the NFT today. You can try to predict the price. What would be the price after 1 day, after 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, up to 1 year, so that there will be kind of a rush in the community if they are seeing that yes, there's a price, a good amount of price for this NFT, they will try to buy it. This is what you need to log in for that.
Right. I was just
Yeah.
going to say, so this is almost like elements of like a prediction market here. So you can signal on an NFT in terms of what its future sort of price action might be.
Exactly. And since we are aggregating all these NFT and making some like intelligent analysis and data points, so we'll be like also like releasing our own endpoints also based out of like what user is doing on our platform. So let's say if someone is predicting this NFT is like shooting higher, and Air NFT wants to plug in this price prediction model, so they can use our endpoint and plug in their platform just to show. So yeah, this is what we have built. Yeah,
That's super cool. I love to like see the new sort of
So the whole idea of building this express product is to provide a one-stop solution for the NFT consumer. So this is just the beginning, what you are seeing currently right now, which is just like very similar like Netflix of an NFT. On top of that, you can try to predict the price. Basically, you can predict the price as well. But very soon we're gonna like implement this cross-chain transactions and liquidity feature. So in short, you can say this would be like a one-stop solution for all the NFT work, for the creators, for the buyers, for the anyone who wants to just to swipe the NFT as well.
So a question, and I'm not going to necessarily put you on the spot because I know Mike's here, but what future chains are you looking at?
What future change?
Sorry, future networks. So
Change,
yeah. So what?
okay.
I mean, you're an
So
aggregator
future,
of NFT marketplaces. So what other networks are you looking at to bring on board the NFT collections? And then maybe just after that, follow up with Mike. I'd be curious to hear sort of what you're sort of seeing as the sort of the NFT action on RSK itself. So
yeah.
Go ahead, Ankit.
So yeah, so the first step would be like very soon you're gonna see like 2 marketplace more gonna add on this BSC. That would be just within a week. And after that, you're gonna see like we are like working on to include this Polygon and Solana as priority, and then we will go for an Ethereum. Yeah, that's how we have planned to move to integrate other networks.
That's so it's interesting. Yeah. So at the moment, it's not on Ethereum. Sorry, did I understand that correctly?
No, it's on BSC, Binance
BSC.
Smart Chain. So we have onboarded all the NFTs almost of the BSC on our platform. Okay. The next step would be for Solana, Polygon, Ethereum, and so on.
It's also sorry, just an amazing. It's amazing to see everyone used to start on Ethereum, then branch out. It's just amazing to see a number of projects build on other chains, and then it's like Ethereum is like fourth. It's very interesting. And Ankit would love to.
Yeah. So our goal is to basically, give the best features, like to make the whole product a market fit and get like good amount of traction. Once we like achieve our like a threshold, we'll just bring the Ethereum ecosystem in just like quickly. Yeah.
Awesome. Of course, the salesman in me will probably want to reach out to you off the back of this. I think that was inevitably going to happen. Yeah, I would love to have a conversation. I mean, it looks amazing. And Harish, just to answer your question, in terms of the NFT ecosystem in RSK, definitely it's been a slow mover on RSK. There's been a number of projects like Waterfan. That's probably been the biggest one at the moment, which is like partnering up with football teams across the globe and auctioning off these kind of NFT pieces. There was a fairly successful auction that was raised recently. Definitely looking to expand our NFT presence, without a doubt. So more projects that are keen to build on RSK. As I say, grants, technical support, marketing available. Would be great to see projects like this integrating for sure.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, sure.
Wow, 1 billion builds, just bringing people together.
Invite me every week, please. Just inviting me.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. Like any more questions for Mike or Ankit on your end?
I just wanted to touch on Mike's point about like projects building on different chains than Ethereum to start off, because it's kind of cool. Like we've definitely noticed that as well. And I just see that on Twitter like a lot. I know that's not a most reliable source of information, but for crypto, that's like kind of the best there is. So yeah, I just definitely see like the kind of challenges and the fees on Ethereum pushing people to different chains, which is kind of cool. Like, because I think that we've seen more people in our ecosystem looking at alternatives too. And like, actually, we were looking at some of our internal metrics for our API calls, and like Ethereum is not the top API calls. Like I think the top is, yeah, well, it's like Binance and then a couple others. So yeah, it was just interesting. I think when we were reviewing the data, we were like a little bit surprised by that, but it kind of makes sense. Harish,
Awesome. No, I was just going to actually just comment the same thing. Like we've taken a look at sort of our internal metrics, and right now, Binance is that network is definitely the most popular in terms of API calls being made using Covalent. But we're definitely seeing growth across all the networks that we support, which is super exciting. But awesome, Mike, Ankit, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you joining us. We're going to dive into a couple of things. You're more than welcome to stay on and listen in. Awesome. But very much appreciate you sharing a bit about IOV Labs, about the RSK network, and sort of the niche play with the Bitcoin support. And Ankit, fantastic job with building out Pandora Express to where it is right now. Really looking forward to seeing how this is going to evolve. And as Mike kind of pointed out, any support that you need from our end or from Mike's end with IOV Labs in terms of how he can help, don't hesitate to reach out.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate the time. Thanks, Zach.
Thank you. Okay, let's jump into a couple of things that we talked about last episode. So the big one, of course, is we launched something. And it seems to have been well received in the marketplace. So, Wei, do you want to quickly touch upon that and maybe just some stats there?
Yeah, gave a little demo, but we launched, I guess, a week ago or a little more than that. I don't know, time flies so much. On the 10th, we launched V3 of our updated API docs, which was super exciting. I didn't sleep for a week, pretty much in preparation for all that. So I'm coming off like this.
I don't think you sleep at all, though. That's the thing. Like you're always just like up like super early in the morning. And
but there's levels of sleep. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. That's a whole separate discussion. You know what a really good 1 billion builds would be? And Jackie and I were speaking about this yesterday, like memeing like the entire Covalent team, like what like animal would you be? Or like funny photos of all from the Whistler retreat. Or we should do an episode where we just guess how many hours of sleep everybody in the team gets. Because I know for Brandon, it's like 2. For Adam, it's like 3. For Ganesh, it's like maybe 4. I don't know. That would just right?
We'll do that for like our holiday wrap up.
Yeah, totally.
I think it'll be pretty funny.
Anyway, the docs. Yeah, it was awesome. I'm like really excited to see people using the new features. I think we've also got some good feedback since launching, which has been really nice. But we were looking at like the site metrics, and we saw about a 50% jump in like views on the day we launched, which was sweet. So I'm glad that the global settings are like going global, which is nice. Kind of back to what Mike was mentioning too, just about like bringing in different communities and different languages. There's definitely like a big push at Covalent to do that because we've recognized so much of our community is across the world. So going forward, I mean, in general, 2022, there's like a lot of exciting things happening on that front in us just like trying to spread ourselves as much as possible and welcome everybody into like using the API and making it easier and easier. So yeah, I'm excited to see like what that entails.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you haven't had a chance to take and explore our new API docs, covalenthq.com/docs/API. Go give it a spin, give it a try and see what works, what doesn't work. We'd love to get your feedback and improve it, even further. I love the fact that we've got now the language translations, and this is of course going to continue to evolve. We've got the developer mode and the analyst mode. So if you are approaching this from the mindset of wanting some sort of spreadsheet that you can then use in Power BI or even Excel, in analyst mode, you get all your responses in CSV format, which makes it very easy to be able to use those other tools that you're accustomed to. Of course, the global setting of the different networks that you can basically lock in if you like. and then of course the regional currency. So definitely a step up from the previous iteration, but as you pointed out, there's lots of exciting things we're already talking about in terms of evolving this to another level with a student mode and sort of a gamification sort of flow to this. So really looking forward to seeing what that's going to look like over the next few months.
Big thank you to Alchemist again for helping us so much with the translation. Like, yeah, it's been incredible to like have help from the community on the translating, and all of the working on it has just said like that, yeah, you guys have been amazing, which is really, really nice. Like better than any competitors, which is great.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think we had brought in both the professional service, and we'd also used the Alchemist community, and the response was definitely that the quality and the speed at getting these translations done by the Alchemist community was second to none. So thank you very much for whoever was involved in helping do some of the translations. Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about hackathons. That's obviously a big thing that we support. Having Covalent come out of a hackathon itself. So we had Hack Camp with a local university here. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that, and then we'll talk a little bit about the Gitcoin cross-chain compatibility hackathon that just wrapped up.
Yeah, just right before the Hack Camp stuff, I just want to mention about the API docs. For feature requests, I'm going to just like keep saying this. I'll probably say it at the end, but using our governance forum in the development section is a good place to go see what's been requested, and then like put that there so that we're not, because Discord is kind of mostly about bugs and stuff like that. So we're trying to separate the noise a little bit more. But yeah, Hack Camp was one of the hackathons we went to, I guess, this past weekend virtually, but it's actually, it's a hackathon put on by students, like a student organization across North America that runs a few different events per year, which was really great. It was mostly focused on like learning. So not super focused on like developing and like, I don't know how you describe this. I guess it was less technical. It was more about getting people into space. But it was actually hosted this time like by people at the university that I went to, which was really cool. So it was UBC, which is a school in British Columbia, Canada, where we are. But yeah, it was really, really fun. We got to give a speech as Covalent, a little, I was so nervous because I was going to get and he kept calling it a keynote speech. And I was like, what does that mean?
It was Lay's first official keynote speech.
Yeah, but it was like a minute. So it wasn't a keynote speech. I was messaging Harish like, is this okay?
Still start somewhere. Yeah.
But that was fun. And then Ganesh and I did a Q&A session, which actually I'll share the videos once we have those. But that was a really cool session because it was actually really focused on Ganesh and like his journey as a co-founder, which was really interesting. Like I learned a lot that I didn't really know about his experience before. And I think that was useful for people in university that are kind of just like, they want to know about this space, but they also are graduating and they kind of want to know about like that experience in general of being a founder and starting their own thing. But yeah, and then Harish and Emmanuel gave an awesome workshop.
I was just going to say, I think that was sort of my big takeaway is that, we're sort of heads deep in this space. But when we, talk to students at universities, like it's still so new for them. Like the whole concept of, what Web3 is looking like, even just understanding some of the basics around blockchains and, the underlying data, it's all new. So there is a huge opportunity. And it also reflects that, we're still pretty early in this this Web3 phase and paradigm. So it's going to be, a very exciting, next 5 years. I can't even imagine as everyone sort of pours into the Web3 space, what it's going to look like, obviously for us, but also for the space in general.
Yeah, I had like such a nice morning talking to those students because it was so cool for me to like, I think it was everything that I wanted when I was graduating, which really like wasn't that long ago. I graduated in 2020 and I didn't know about any of these possibilities or like any of the things that you could do. I didn't even know what Web3 was. I knew what blockchain was, but like, yeah, it's just come so far since then. And like to be in a position where I'm now able to talk about those things and
Mhm.
like excitement from people that are in their last year of university wanting like other opportunities. Because a major thing that people were asking me questions about was like the culture in this space and like being like the ownership aspect, like owning your
Mhm.
own accomplishments, being able to work in different organizations, being able to contribute your skills in like a different sort of way, which is like it's the freedom of Web3, which is really nice. And
Mhm.
it was just super cool to talk about that. And like I had a, yeah, I was kind of emotional to be honest. It was really nice.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Wow, you've only been like a year out, and
I
you're already
know.
like making waves at Covalent. It always blows my mind how young some of our staff is, but just like how like professional and polished you are in terms of presenting
Oh,
your stuff and
thanks.
the company. So that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, we're really excited. I think UBC's got another one coming up in January that we're looking forward to being a part of, and other institutions as well. Really quickly on the Gitcoin hackathon. So that wrapped up pretty recently. Lots of great submissions. We had sort of two, I would say, sort of primary bounties that we were offering. One was on building out a DEX dashboard template, and the other one was for a DAO. And then we would also sort of test the waters a little bit with the direct access to our replica database and building out a classifier, which I think is still going to need a little bit of work to streamline that onboarding process. But I just want to quickly show you a couple of the submissions that we got. And again, always blows my mind just in terms of what folks are capable of building in this space. So the first one I'm going to share is it's called the Dash Dex, and it was kind of funny. This one actually, I almost missed seeing it. It was sort of buried in the spreadsheet, and there wasn't sort of a live URL available for me to see. So I kind of skimmed over it, but then kind of went back and ran it locally actually before reaching out to the developer to try to get a live link. But very well done. Even the nice little small things like a little rotating ticker, tie-in with sort of these third-party tools like Token Terminal, and just incredibly well done overall. So this is again is a template that's using one of our API endpoints. The endpoint is the what we call the XY equals K, which is sort of a general term for like a Uniswap clone type of AMM or market. And there are a handful of AMMs that we support. So if I go down to our class B and take a look at XY equals K, let me just go down to it. There's a handful of different DEXs that we support, basically out of the box. And then with each of those DEXs that we support, there's actually, I think, 9 or 10 API endpoints to get all the pool information, to get all the token information, to get everything from the 24-hour volumes, liquidity swaps, all that kind of stuff. So it makes it very easy to be able to build a dashboard like this. Again, I think DashDex sort of embodies what we were looking for with having just a very easy to view and templated project that anyone can sort of fork and adapt for their purposes now. So that was the first one. The second one was for our DAO analytics, and the DAOlytics team, I think, wowed us with their very simple interface where they had sort of 4 examples of different DAOs. And if you search for, or if you click on any one of them, there's a bunch of information, including sort of a sentiment analysis. So this is sort of analyzing, things like tweets and other social media posts, as well as getting some details about the membership. They also do a calculation of Gini coefficient to look at sort of equality or inequality of the tokens held in a DAO. So very well done in terms of a templated DAO analytics tool. And again, with something like this, you just need to find the contract address for the particular DAO, and you can add that to this app, and it will import the analytics for that particular DAO. So 2 fantastic projects, really well done, beautifully looking. This is the kind of stuff that we'd love to see coming out of our hackathons.
That's super cool. I love to see people using the Gini coefficient more. Like I have an econ background, so it's just like, it's fun to see people taking those principles of like inequality and wanting to update governance processes across Web3 to like kind of, yeah, just pay attention to that stuff and like set it right from a foundational aspect.
Yeah, what's interesting about that, I think a lot of the DAOs, the Gini equality coefficient is sort of almost at 1, which kind of highlights there's definitely a massive imbalance, but I would hope over time that changes.
It's just good for people to know, because like we're definitely working towards something. I think there's always like everything in Web3 conceptually is set up to be like better, I guess, but then in practice aren't rules because it's decentralized. So like anybody could have this huge voting power. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting to like at least have the information and to know what that represents.
Absolutely. So with the Gitcoin cross-chain hackathon wrapping up, there's a couple more in the pipeline. The one sort of starting this week, if you've registered, is the BUIDLs hackathon run by our partners at Polygon. And internally, we're actually talking with a handful of different projects to organize, campaigns coming up in the new year. So, we've been talking to IOTX, we've been talking to Clayton, we've been talking to Axie Infinity, lots of massive projects that we're working with and excited to launch these campaigns. So definitely stay tuned for announcements around when those campaigns are going to be live.
On the Axie note, we mentioned this last time, the governance process on our side for indexing Ronin, Axie's side chain, is underway. So actually, I think the snapshot vote is tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled for announcements on that. But it would be, I'm supporting. I don't know if we can say that. Like, I think it's fine, but I would love to.
Expected,
I'd love to see some of that data because it's cool. They have a really interesting like economic framework and just everything that the Axie team is doing. I'm kind of interested in. So but you can vote now, like just
So well, I think for everyone who might be a token holder, it's almost in their interest to make sure that we get these big projects on board.
Pretty much everyone always votes yes. I just feel like I don't want to push that. That's the only option. But like our last one, I think it was like 90-something%, if not 100% yes for Harmony. So kind of makes sense.
I think we want to give a shout out to one of the alchemists who ran a workshop a few weeks ago. And I think you've got some pictures to share. This kind of blew my mind. This was one of our Turkish alchemists, Bugra Ayan, who has been quite actively involved with the Alchemist program in terms of building educational content. And then just randomly messaged us over the weekend saying he'd been part of this conference in Turkey and had like a book signing where I think he took the course content that he's got on Udemy and put it into sort of a book format and also presented at this conference. So just looked like it was an amazing event with huge participation, but again, kind of blew my mind when I saw these pictures.
Yeah, me too. I'm sharing like just a little screenshot that Jackie sent me when he messaged her. But, like you can see the stack of the Covalent API books there and like all those people. And then let me share the other one. We were both just like so shocked. It was so cool. Where's the other one? Here, you can see like the conference itself. There's like a bunch of people there. There's him standing on stage in front of like hundreds of people. It's so awesome to see like people adopting like even little parts of what we do across the world and like sharing it with others. It's so cool.
Yeah, so thank you Bugara for doing that, sharing both those pictures and also for obviously running what looked like a very successful session at the conference. So love to see stuff like that. Please keep sharing it as you do that kind of stuff. Speaking of the DAO, there was a workshop yesterday run by one of our relatively new hires, Terry, and maybe you can just say a couple words about that, and I'll share the link in the YouTube channel here.
Yeah, for anyone that had the pleasure of going to Terry's workshop yesterday, that's like totally what it was. It was just so enjoyable. I actually joined last minute because I wasn't sure if I was going to have conflicting like work that day. And then because we also announced Stake in the City season 3 yesterday, and actually we had all of that scheduled at the same time. And at the last minute, we were like, "Oh, Terry's giving a workshop. We'll push the Stake in the City release." And I'm really glad we did, because everybody was so engaged with Terry's workshop. It was called Leadership and Navigating the Unknown. And Terry is our chief of staff at Covalent, which kind of came on as just like he just like helps everything function, basically.
Yeah.
He's kind of the person that just facilitates like the teamwork and like, our part
make
of
sure we're all happy.
Yeah. So his experience, like he has military experience to draw from in terms of like decision making and leadership and how to find yourself in tough situations. And I think like we've spoken about this, but the DAO has definitely been one of those situations where it's really hard. You're like working together with a whole new group of people, different skill sets, virtually, like, and trying to all navigate the unknown together, I guess, which is appropriate for like, what he spoke about. And he shared some of his experience, and it was just like, it was really motivating. It was really nice. And I liked the questions that I saw the alchemists ask, because I think it was like a space where everybody was finally like, this is someone who's been through it that can give us advice, which was really awesome. So,
I mean, having resources like Terry is just fantastic, and very much recommend everyone to check it out. It's a great presentation.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this, but we're just for these shows now, like we're live streaming it on the day, but because it's weekly, it kind of just makes sense to share the videos with you guys so you can go through it whenever you want, and fill out those questions or like our quizzes, which I'm really enjoying seeing the responses.
Yeah, I think you're enjoying creating them too.
Yeah, they're fun. Yeah, I was so like blown away to see how many people tweeted about us. Like that was so cute. I thought it was a bonus. I didn't expect people to actually do it. So that was really nice. If you search like hashtag 1 billion builds now, there's a presence, which is so cool.
And you definitely want to be collecting the POAPs of the 1 billion build shows. We'll just we'll leave it at that. There's good value in those badges. Awesome. So I think we're pretty much at time here, and I guess just to wrap it up, quickly share. So I've been at Covalent for exactly a year this week. In fact, 2 days ago was like the my 1 year anniversary, and kind of like, I'm still like, somewhat physically here, lost a little bit of hair, but it's been just a wild ride. I couldn't have pictured working with a better group of individuals and in a space that is, very dynamic, constantly evolving, changing, but so exciting and innovative. So it's been fantastic. And I'll just quickly share the first week I was brought on board, I was tasked with creating a new campaign for developers. And, I was talking with Ganesh, and we're sort of talking about ideas, and he's like, let's do something with wallets. And I was like, all right, let's do something with wallets. I guess we've got an API that enables you to pull balances, transactions relatively easy. So let's do like the 100 wallet campaign. Or something to that effect. And he looked at me and he's like, no, come on, man, you gotta think way bigger than this. And so I was like, 1,000? He's like, let's do 1 million. So that was the genesis of the 1 million wallets, and even just how we like pieced it all together with just the branding and the website. We had just brought on our one of our designers, Tanisha, who's been instrumental in our success. And it was just, kind of like flying by the wire in terms of building it all together. And that to me is still like embodying sort of the spirit of the space in terms of just being able to move very quickly, find an innovative idea, push the envelope, add the marketing flair to it, and just engage developers to unleash their creativity. And now we're running 1 million wallets with our large network partners, and we're getting lots of sponsorship and stuff. And it's sort of evolved into this thing where I think very realistically, we in a couple of years we could hit 1 million wallets very easily. So yeah, it's incredible. And it's only been a year, feels like maybe sometimes 10 years, but I can't imagine what the next few years are going to look like, and what they're going to mean for the space, and of course us at Covalent.
Yeah, it's funny because like there's the 100 and then the 1,000 and then the 1 million, and now we have 1 billion builds.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to have to change it to 1 billion wallets soon. Yeah, exactly.
Like growing and growing, but I'm so glad you're here and with Covalent. You are literally like a good part of the heart and soul of this company, and I'm so happy to be working with you. So happy 1 year.
Awesome. Cheers to that. I won't share what's in here, but it's what keeps me going every morning. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lay. It's been a pleasure having you on board, and I hope you continue to innovate and enjoy your role as it keeps evolving. Cool. So that's I think that's a wrap for this episode. We'll send out the link where you can go through the quiz, get those valuable POAPs, and we will see you next Thursday for the live recording of our episode 5. And who will be the mysterious guest? Can we reveal that yet?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And
stay
also,
tuned for who that's going to be.
You'll be getting the POAPs from me because Ganesh exceeded his like some thousands and thousands of contacts. So
okay.
Yeah, it'll be Leilani Covalent that's sending you the POAPs.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. On that note, thanks so much. We'll see you for episode 5 soon.
All right. See you next week. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.